What is going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to KGX to the ZTV. Appreciate everybody for locking in. Here with a match reaction: Chelsea 2, Servette 0. First leg of the UEFA Conference League playoff. Very interesting tie. Second leg, second match under Maresca. So very interested to see the lineup, how this one played out, tactics, to see what we would look like versus a team where there's an obvious gap in quality. So let's get into it, right? So right from the start, we'll take a look at the lineups, right? So Chelsea had a back four of, actually we had Jorgensen in goal, which was a change from the weekend where we had Sanchez. So very interesting to see Jorgensen between the sticks in a competitive match, see how he would handle it, see what his nerves would like, see how his distribution, shot stopping, all those good things. But left back we had Vega. Left center back we had Badiashile, Tosin in the middle, and then on paper we had Disasi at right back. The midfield was a midfield of Caicedo, Dewsbury Hall, with with Mudryk pushed out left, Neto pushed out right, Guy up top, and Cuckoo tucked in right behind him. So very attacking lineup. Even though it looks sort of like a 4-1-4-1 on paper, it was really a three at the back with in possession with Disasi, Badiashile, and Tosin, right? Tosin in the middle as our three center backs. Vega pushed up in the midfield, did his inverting thing, so it kind of made a double pivot of him and Caicedo. And then you had Mudryk and Neto on the wings, with the central channels being in Cuckoo, Dewsbury Hall, and Guy sort of as the main focal point of attack, right? So start off the match well. We get a chance. Five minutes into the match, Guy sort of tucks it around one of the central defenders. Keeper's coming out for Servette. He goes to ground. Instead of going down, Guy does the honorable thing, stays on his feet, pushes the ball past, but unfortunately the touch sort of takes him away, and his shot goes wide left of the post. He attempts to sort of get his head on it and to kind of to steer it back on course, but he can't, and ultimately squanders the chance. It's a very big talking point, because if Guy goes down right there, which we'll talk about a little bit later with Nkuku, but if Guy goes down right there, that's a penalty, yellow card, maybe a red card, although they probably won't give him double jeopardy, but that would start the game off 1-0, already put Servette underneath the cosh. The crowd would be into it, and it would just kind of lift the mood and sort of ease everyone's tensions, right? Not that it was a tense match, so to say, but just to sort of get us off and to potentially just let Servette know that, you know, you're at Stamford Bridge, the quality of the players that we have at our disposal, we should really just be putting it on them, and that should have started from minute one. It didn't. We sort of we still started off the first half strong, first 20 minutes, but then as we do, we sort of fade a little bit. The midfield's looking a little bit disjointed, you know, rightfully so. Caicedo's in there, captaining in the side with Vega, who sort of first meaningful minutes. I know he came on late versus Man City, but this was a match for him for us as fans to sort of see what he's about, and then for him to sort of kind of get used to that new left back inverted role. Obviously, we know what's going on with Chilwell, so with Cucurella being the sort of the starter and us wanting to rest him for the weekend up ahead with our trip to Wolves and the Molyneux, we needed to see him step up, right? Interesting call to bring the Sassy in, obviously, especially with the rumors. Check out the last Chelsea transfer roundup video I did before, but the rumors of him going and sort of being outside of Maresca's squad. But with Reece James being injured, it really put a damper on it, right? Ideally, you'd want to have Reece James starting that first Premier League match if he wasn't suspended and injured, and then Gusto coming in here, finding his legs. But obviously, with a Thursday-Sunday turnaround, you need Gusto to sit on the bench and to rest a little bit, maybe come on a little bit later, which he did, and then kind of get some more minutes in. Maybe it could have been a shout for Archipong, but knowing that this is Maresca's second match it isn't a very important match in the sense that we can't mess up, we can't lose the home tie, we can't get off to a poor start because we need to get this to qualify, and to do whatever we can to sort of kill the match, or kill the tie in the first match. So you understand, I understand his playing it safe. Although, like I said, very interesting to see DeSassi come in, considering he didn't play any minutes in the preseason, didn't make the bench for any of them, but then starts tonight. And to his credit, he didn't play very poorly. They didn't threaten us very much throughout the match, and most of what they did kind of came on the other side, down Mudryk's side. But yeah, that was definitely an interesting call, and kind of got to see how everything sort of played out. Very slow in the midfield, very slow in terms of picking up the passes. You can tell when we don't have Lavia in there. Lavia is a much better connector, right? Much better at picking the ball up off the center backs, turning, shielding, and beating a man, and then sort of driving downfield or downhill against the opposition. Much better at that than Caicedo. Caicedo's much more of a one-touch, two-touch passer, or if he can kind of lift his head up, if he's got time, he can play a diagonal and things like that. But if you pressure him and you sort of come through the back of him, he has a tendency to give the ball away, tendency to take a few loose touches there, especially when he's not 100% fit, which we know he's not. Not in the sense that he's carrying a knock, but just that he needs minutes in his legs coming back late from the preseason from Copa America. So that was definitely an issue. And then, as always, is the issue with us in terms of the final third is just finding that right balance, the quality, the link up, the interchanges. We did have a couple of chances in terms of Neto, driving some balls right across the front of goal. Mudryk was dangerous a few times, wasteful a lot of other times. But I actually thought that this was one of his better games when it comes to beating a man, getting into the final third, and kind of getting into dangerous positions. But like we've seen from Mudryk, it just doesn't have the ability to put everything together. The physical traits are elite, right? The pace, the quickness, the burst, the agility. You could just tell from a pure athlete standpoint, he's just on a different playing field than the majority of the folks he's going to go up against, and especially at this Conference League level, he is just going to be just that much of a physical threat in terms of getting in behind, dribbling at pace at people, beating a man. So those aspects of it he did very well, but like I said, just very wasteful, not picking out the right pass, not always being locked in, especially defensively and things like that. So that was definitely something an area that we can definitely improve on, and one that's we're gonna have to keep an eye on for the remaining 7, 8, 9 days of the transfer window, because with Sterling sort of being frozen out and the rumors of him of Aston Villa knocking on the door, if he goes out, does that mean we bring in someone else? Again, just very interesting. Also interesting that Madueke didn't start, right? So you kind of figured, Neto would need some minutes, need some time to gel with us in a meaningful match. Mudryk also didn't get off the bench against Man City, so you kind of figured he was going to play on that left-hand side. That right-hand side is really just a test, really at this point a toss-up between Neto and Madueke, who came on later. But overall, and Nkuku was getting himself into some dangerous places too. But you could also see just the inexperience and just the lack of chemistry of the team, where oftentimes, Nkuku and Gui would find themselves right on top of each other. And not always Nkuku's fault, right? A lot of it is just you're playing with a striker as inexperienced as Gui, so you kind of expect him to not be as positionally aware. But again, like one thing I mentioned before is that he will do the dirty work, he will press, he will make runs, he will be a nuisance, be physical and things like that. And we see that come into the match a little bit later. But nervous times, like I said, but we still kind of controlled it throughout that first half. And then finally, the breakthrough, maybe 2-3 minutes before halftime, comes via a penalty. So Nkuku kind of gets played in behind, and then the keeper comes out just like he did in the first half. And unlike the first half, unlike the first few 5 minutes with Gui's chance where Gui doesn't go down and Cuckoo does go down, draws the penalty, steps up to the spot. Keeper guesses the right way, but he still has got too much power, too much pace on the ball, and 1-0 Chelsea. And we go into halftime. Nerves eased a little bit, but still not satisfied of the result and the performance. But we come back out second half and no changes, and we settle a little bit. You know, we're playing some nice passes. We have an opportunity to go up 2-0. Gui, charges down on the keeper, does a great job. The keeper's way out of his box, makes a mistake, tries to hit it long. It deflects off of Gui. The ball rolls right in front of the goal. Gui does have a nice little 20 yard run to get to it. And he just completely scuffs it. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. He hits 3 cracks at it. And, I will say the last 2 shots were contested. There were folks on the line, but folks had gotten back and were on the line at that point. But that first opportunity, an experienced striker, actually, to be honest with you, I'm not even sure if Jackson would have converted that, but an experienced striker, say we bring in an Asherman, even a Lukaku and Cuckoo, they slot that home. It's 2-0. Servette is just on the back foot, and they are looking just to get out with a respectable score line, and hopefully, it's not 3, 4, 5-0 at that point or after that. So we squander that opportunity. Servette has a couple of nice chances. They get one. They come close with a deflected shot that goes off of our post. But other than that, it's most of their chances are contained either through some late cutouts, some late interceptions, some blocks, and then basically just a lot of poor passes and just poor quality from them, as you would expect from a Swiss league side, right? That's not Basel. That's not some of the grasshoppers, BSC young boys. That's not some of the top top teams in their league. But we make a few subs. Enzo comes on for Lavia. Gusto comes on at right back for Disasi, who obviously doesn't have 90 minutes in his legs. Madueke comes on for Neto. Who else? Cole Palmer comes on for Gui. And things, and a couple more subs, and things pick up a little bit, but you can still see when Palmer comes on, he's really playing like that false 9, and it's not a position that he looks extremely comfortable in. Right, he's not bad when he gets the ball to his feet and his back is the goal, but obviously he's a player that you want to kind of get either on the end of balls or kind of get it to his feet while he's facing goal and let him beat a man and pick out a pass and things like that. But Enzo does come on, gets the ball in that right sort of in our own half on the right hand side, just inside the halfway line, and plays a really nice ball over the top on the right hand side for Madueke, who's cutting in, and the defender sort of gets lost a little bit. Madueke's first 2 touches are very, very good, and he slots it home with his right foot, right at the keeper, but it's a nice roof shot at the. Again, using his right foot. So very, very nice finish for Madueke. He had an opportunity maybe like 5-10 minutes before that where he cut in on his left-hand side. And instead of playing a nice diagonal ball on the ground in the box to Mudryk, who could have taken a first-time shot, he ends up shooting it and he gets blocked. But this time he makes no mistakes, slots it home. It's 2-0. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, they do have a chance late, Servette, where they get a nice cutback in the box and a shot comes directly at a lot of bodies in front of it, but a shot comes directly at Jorgensen, and Jorgensen does a really good job of not only saving it but also parries it out of harm's way to preserve the clean sheet and preserve the 2-0 win in the first leg. So we're going to end up going there next week, I believe next Thursday, for the second leg. Hopefully get the job done and then advance to the Conference League proper. Final thoughts on it. Standout performers. There really weren't. I thought Tosin played pretty well. Badiashile had some moments where, again, he was very lackadaisical with his passing, but positionally on defense, I thought he was pretty well. Did pretty well. Vega handled himself pretty well overall. Disasi, like I said, didn't put too many steps wrong. Caicedo was fairly calm. Did have a couple of Caicedo-ish fouls. I thought Dewsbury Hall was pretty poor and pretty anonymous for the second match in a row. Palmer looked a little bit off it as well, and Cuckoo was popping up here and there in some dangerous positions, but not as much as I liked. Mudryk was, like I said, a little bit dangerous. Neto, a little dangerous, but sort of faded in and faded out. Gui, outside of those two moments, didn't have too much attacking wise, but still put in a shift. Enzo was pretty decent when he came back on. Madueke, obviously got the goal. So I don't know who would really be the man of the match. Maybe Jorgensen. Jorgensen had a couple of good saves, was very tidy in possession, very calm. Don't get that sense of panic that you get with Sanchez where you just know he has a mistake in him. Granted, some of that is probably due to the fact that we just haven't seen Jorgensen that much, but so far in the matches that we've seen, I've liked what I've seen from him. But again, it's going to take time. He's extremely young, and he's working with an inexperienced backline in front of him. But if I had to give my man of the match, I'd probably say Jorgensen for the little work that he did have to do, and when we needed the call on him, he stepped up and delivered. So that's it. I mean, like I said, we've got Wolves on the weekend, Molineux Sunday. They beat us twice last year, I know they beat us at the Molineux with the infamous Sterling 3v1 where he didn't pass. So it's a good time for us to take some revenge for them. They'll probably be a little bit more match fit. They drew. What did they drew? They lost 2-0 at the Emirates versus Arsenal, so a very tough opening day fixture. Cunha didn't start in that one, but he should be match fit for this one, so he'll be very dangerous. Jimenez, Huang Chi, Huang up top. At Nori, who's definitely a baller there at left back. So they're going to be tough, and the Molineux is always a tough one. We've had some pretty decent results there, apart from last year over the years. So we'll see, but one thing's for sure, make sure you check back in, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I will see you at the next one. Peace.